Hello, everybody. I'm Aleefia Somji, and the purpose of my project is to build resilient strategies to improve mental health for women leaders. So, who am I? I'm Indian. I grew up in Tanzania, and I bring this into my monitoring, evaluation, and learning role for the Momentum Country and Global Leadership here at Jhpiego. I also teach a course at the Johns Hopkins University School of Public Health. A little bit more about me. I've always been someone who's been excited about many different things, both in my personal life as well as my professional life. And as a result, I found myself always overcommitted and pulled in many different directions, something that I also see frequently amongst my peers. I've often felt like a car driving in the middle of the road, and then suddenly it stops. It's not moving. And the fuel tank, it's empty. And the indicator light, that's broken. And there began my cycles of burnout. And so I ask you all a question. Who among you has felt similar, being in the middle of the road, stopped and burnt out? And would you like to know more to help you? So some facts. There's been a meta-analysis of 180 plus studies which showed that women are more likely to experience emotional exhaustion when compared to men. And that emotional exhaustion affects burnout rates, in turn decreasing organizational productivity and increasing turnover. Self-care improves leader-employee care, employee self-care, as well as employee health, and helps to build resilience. I learned that through many hard lessons that to keep my tank full, I needed to incorporate several different types of self-care into my everyday. I learned a lot. So what happens when we know a storm is about to hit? For me, I prepare my house. I salt the roads for the snowstorm. I check that the windows are sealed, etc. And I do this before the storm, during the storm, and after the storm. And I view self-care as helping to build resilience against life storms. I learned how to protect my own house. And so I decided to do my leadership project on self-care strategies for women in leadership. Why? Because I'm passionate about it, because I wanted to use what I have learned to pay it forward, and because organizations don't pay much attention to this. So how did I decide to do this? I first conducted a survey of women in global health, and then I conducted a series of workshops focused on practical self-care strategies that can be easily incorporated into daily life. So here are some of my survey results. I had 50 plus respondents who are mostly from North America as well as South Asia, followed by East and West Africa. And I found that there were two top facilitators that enabled self-care practices. One was the knowledge of its importance and the knowledge of how to practice. And I found that more than 90% of respondents wanted to incorporate more emotional, physical, or mental self-care practices. And 23 of them shared their email addresses, most of whom I did not know. I also asked about the least practiced self-care strategies. So the first I found was meditation and mindfulness, followed by Epsom salt baths, affirmations, grounding or earthing, and then the least practiced was the emotional freedom technique or tapping. And so I designed my workshops to focus on these strategies. So what next for me? More workshops. If you're interested, please ping me. An external company contacted me to hold workshops with them, which is very exciting. I plan to incorporate these workshops into my country trips. I plan to possibly lead a bi-weekly meditation at work and offer this as a session as part of the Global Women Health Fellowship. I wanted to spend the last few minutes talking about why I have been grateful for this journey. I learned to practice authentic leadership through identifying my core values and making leadership decisions based on these. I fully aligned to who I am. And this helped to strengthen my voice. I've always also struggled with imposter syndrome. What if I'm not good enough? And through the individual coaching sessions, including the 360 reviews, I learned to tackle this. It's not over, but I have some tools in my belt. I also practice strategic and inclusive leadership by learning to leverage my power and play to my strengths of connection. I learned to lead with what came naturally to me, to lead with empathy, and to be proud of that. And my leadership project is an example of impactful leadership, where I want to use what I have learned to develop and mentor others. And finally, I would like to thank the WomenLift Health Program, my mentors, my cohort members, my buddy, my coaches. I'd also like to thank my boss, Jim Ricca, and my work colleagues who have supported me throughout, including Laura Fitzgerald, who nominated me to this program. I also wanted to thank my family and friends who have encouraged me and helped me embrace who I fully am. Thank you.